Hello everybody, another exciting day down on my little farm today. If you like what we're doing, please comment, like. If you're not already a subscriber, subscribe. And so you don't miss another episode down on the farm, hit the bell notification icon below. Alright, see you in a bit. So we're going to wet that through now, the cardboard. So a couple of cans, probably about 20 litres worth of water is going to go into that, just to saturate it all. As you can see with the cardboard there at the sides, I have stapled it to the sides. It's not going to last forever, that obviously, but it'll be all right for a bit. That in there. Steve was saying yesterday about the microplastics. Now there is ink on that. I don't know. Good, better, best. The cardboard in it, I suppose. There's not going to be too much of the microplastics in the ink. Don't know. Anyway, so we're going to wet that through. We're going to get the compost in. We're going to get some amendments into the compost as well, because that's going to have tomatoes in it. It's actually going to have sun gold tomatoes in it. That 5 plants worth. Let's crack on. So first bag's in of the clover, 75 litre bag of clover compost. That's the first layer of compost, and into that I put a cupful of blood, fish and bone meal per plant. So we're having 5 plants in there, so that's 5 cups of blood, fish and bone meal, and that's going to be mixed in. Also, we're going to get 5 handfuls, good sized handfuls, of the 6X concentrated farmyard manure. Because the clover compost is pretty much barren, we're adding those feed and root development amendments in there on that first layer. The second layer is not going to have very much at all, but the idea is, I'll show you in a bit. I'll show you. So yeah, what we're going to do next is, now the compost is in, we are going to cut the bottoms out of those. I can get 6 in there, I've worked out. So we can get 6 plants in there, and we'll get them off and running. But we're going to cut the bottoms out of these first, and I'll show you this next step now. I'm not sure that you can pick that out, but there's like a natural line in these buckets. I'm going to try and follow that as I cut it out. Now you can use scissors. Scissors is probably best, a good pair of scissors. But I haven't got any scissors at the moment. I don't know what I've done with them. So I'm going to use my Stanley knife and try and follow that line. So they might not be as pretty and straight, but they'll do the job. So there's our 6 buckets in there, and the bottoms are cut out of them. You can see. They then get sunk into the soil, which I'm going to do next. And we don't waste the bases either, boys and girls. Waste not, want not, Robin. So they're all sunken in now to the bed, our 6 stations. And what I'm going to do now is give it all a good soaking. I'm going to pour about a good 10 litres worth of water in, all over that. And in that way, well, I'll just keep going until I've saturated the bed, to be honest with you. And then it's all nice and damp. So initially it can absorb all of that moisture. Alright, so that's had a good dousing. That's had 17 litres of water in it, and hopefully that'll all soak into the compost, so that initially we've got that dampness in the ground. Because this is an open bottom box, I have lined it, but there is a chance there that you know, I don't know. We're going to have to keep an eye on the watering. Let's just put it that way. But at least we're keeping the weeds out. The weeds are not going to be in there. It's cardboard lined, as you know. So the weeds are not going to be getting in there. Those hardy perennial weeds. So, yeah. Crack on, boy. Crack on. That's our first customer. Mr. Sun Gold. They're all sun golds, but he's the king of them so far. These basil leaves I'm going to take off, and I'm going to plant it up until about there, where that first joint is coming out there. Nip out that as well, you don't want them. And little suckers, they're called, that go into the crook of the elbow. They just waste your time. We want a single stem going all the way up, so we take those out because they'll grow into fruiting branches, but they're not desirable, shall we say. So that's going to be planted in. He's our first customer. So firstly, we want to make sure that his roots are getting a good start. Now I've just made an impression using the plant's own pot within the pot to form a mould for it, so that when I take it out of its pot, I can just drop straight into the mould, to the hole, and be a perfect fit. We're going to sprinkle in a spoonful of that mycorrhizal fungi that you can see there. That really helps to get the best start for the plants, assists the root growth. So there's a spoonful going to be going in there. Yep. Okay, that's the first one in. And we're just going to top him off again with more compost. Just your barren compost, no feed in it. What we want is for his roots to go down and seek out the moisture and nutrition, to have a big root system on him. So we're going to top dress that with just barren plain compost. Coconut coir, if you like. So we're almost done there. I'm going to have 2 sun gold there, sweet 100 in the middle, 2 of those, and some more sun gold down there. We're only doing the sort of cherry ones this year because the kids love them. I'm not a massive fan of tomatoes, but I do love the sun gold ones and the sweet 100. So you grow what you like, don't you? You're not growing it for anybody else, you're growing it for you and your family. And me and the family love those ones. So yeah, I'll just complete that off. These are the watering bottles. Now in those, there's 4mm holes drilled all in the bottom and in the top of the lid there, in the lid. And then you fill those up with water and it seeps out and keeps you hydrated, keeps your bed hydrated. So we give them a good 2 fills of an evening when we come down. So it's they're getting about 3, 6, 9. Hang on, we'll be up to there. So yeah, so it'll be 3, 6, 9, 12 litres of water each night will be going into there. So this is for the watering. You feed in here, you water in here, so it goes down to the roots and the plant can draw up the water from its roots. And the feed, when you do feed, it'll be going into the top there. You'll see as we progress through the growing of these tomato plants. See you in a minute. So yeah, one final thing is the actual pots that the tomatoes came in, the 4-inch pots, fit very nicely into the top of our watering bottle system, our pop bottle system. Those are 2-litre pop bottles with the bottoms cut off them, and 4mm drill holes, about 12 4mm drill holes at the top of the neck of the bottle. They fit in there, and that should prevent the bumblebees from falling in and drowning, hopefully. Fingers crossed. But yeah, that'll act as a sort of a preventative barrier. The water will still go through when I'm watering them up, and I'm hoping that that's going to stop the bumblebees drowning, because we did have a couple of bees who drowned last year. We don't want that. We want to protect our friends, the bees. So yeah, that's it essentially. I'm putting the canes up now, and then they can start running up there. I'm going to tie them in from these, running along, so that they're secure. And we're going to single stem these plants up each one of the canes, trimming the bushing out as we go. So we're going to get a nice single set of vines, single stemmed set of vines, hopefully about 8 to 10 vines from each plant, maybe more. We did get more last year. we ended up getting an average of just over 130 tomatoes per plant last year, which I thought was pretty good. That was on the cherry tomatoes anyway, but that's all right, isn't it? Each vine had about sort of like 15 on it, and there was a load of vines on them. There's like 20 vines on average on each one, which was, I thought, was brilliant. And we didn't do it quite like that, but it was almost like that. I think that could, fingers crossed, be a slightly better method than we used last year. But you never know, do you? We'll see how we get on. I don't think there's any feet been placed in the wrong spot when we've done that. Oh, bang. I don't like these. I've decided. I don't like them. And the plants don't like them either. They're not particularly thriving in them. So I'm going to get shut. I just keep bouncing my bonts on them every single time. They're a pain. They're in the way, them now. They're in the way, and they've got to go. I'm going to keep a couple of them, maybe. Like this. As long as they're not in the way, just hanging down, like dangling down. But they're going to be shading the light out as well, them. So, yeah, I'm only going to keep a couple of those. It was worth a shot, wasn't it? The Hanging Gardens of Babylon. Right, we'll crack on. Yeah, so there's a bit of a climbing frame for them. I'm going to give them a gentle watering in now, just around the bases, just to get them seated in. And then we'll be all right, won't we? That's the last top water these will be getting, because the wicking action of the compost, as we fill them from these, the water goes down in the base. The roots need to seek that out. So we're going to feed from in here. When we feed, water through those. That's the best bet. So I'm going to water all those in now. Take a couple of photographs of my little creation. And there we go. Hope you like it. Okay. Now that only took, even with the filming, like 40 minutes, so we've got plenty of time now to get some spuds in. So I think that's what we'll do. We'll go for that. Got 2 more rows to put in of the Sarpo Mira. They're well chitted along now. And I was checking my videos from last year when we did the bucket growing experiment. And what I found did the best was the chicken manure from last year on the potatoes as regards to the crop. Obviously the foliage, yeah, and the crop as well. So I'm going to do a sort of 50-50 mix for the feed, using the bloodfish and bone, a cupful of that and a cupful of the chicken manure, and see how that works. We'll try that. I think it's going to be okay, that, because as I say last year, the bucket growing ones, they did the best. Look at my hair. They did the best. The chicken manure ones. So that's what we're going to do. Alright, there's the trench. It's about 10 inches deep. There's a half a cup of bloodfish and bone meal in there, and a half a cup of organic chicken manure pellets. I'm also going to put on top of that and mix it in the clover compost, and that's going to be the bedding for the potatoes. So yeah, the compost is all mixed in with the feed. I'm going to put the spuds in now. Now the Sarpo Mira don't seem to chit along as rampantly as the other ones. But we had the same thing last year. They were small chits when they first started off like that, and then they soon caught up and we got a bumper crop off them. So I'm just going to chuck them in like that, see how they get on. Relatively bums down chits up. The root grows from where the chit point is, so the roots will come out from there and seek out the nutrition, what have you. So I'm going to do another top dressing and just cover those in with the same half cup of the bloodfish and bone, half cup of the chicken manure, and a good heaping helpful handful of the other. Yep, so they're gently bedded in with some more of the feed and compost mix. Now, because it's been dry for about 3 weeks now, we've not really had much rain. I'm going to just give them a bit of a dampening off there, and that'll help to make contact with the potatoes as well. And then what we'll do next is we'll just backfill the soil, crumbling as we go and checking for bindweed and horse's tail, and that'll be that. Sithy, Sarpos, Sarpo Mira, and I'm trying for a catch crop of cluster planted bolt hardy beetroot as well. The radishes, I sold a few drills of radishes, bright lights radish it's called, in between the rows of spuds, and they seem to be coming on alright now. So I'm going to water them up, get it all watered up now with the watering can. It's probably going to take about, what does it take now? It takes 4 cans of the 7 litres watering cans. So 1 can gets you about half a bed on this. But these are like 8 foot. It's a 16-foot bed, that. So 4 foot by 3 foot is a full can of water. You certainly do get through water on an allotment plot, I'll tell you that for nothing. I've just planted up the centre bed there with more spinach, beetroot, cabbage and collie. Cabbage, collie, cabbage, collie, and vice versa on the other side. Right, so as I say, now is the time. We've got to get all the stuff out. We've got to get everything out. I've got to bring some more brassica collars, but I forgot the brassica collars again that we made from the disposable overalls. We'll do that next. Right, I'm going to get this covered up because I've just spotted a cabbage white knocking about, the advanced party. So we'll get those covered up straight away. I've found another use for the trampoline frame springs. I calls them net weights. Now, because I've run out of the tent pegs to peg it down with the netting, so I'm using the trampoline springs to weight it down. Why not? That's a good idea, isn't it? If I do say so myself. Because they're quite heavy. That should weight it down, that. Put a couple of pegs in, like, you know. Jobs are good. Well, it's Sunday, and it's bucket spud inspection time once again, boys and girls. And the Red Dukes have burst their britches, and they're coming through. The Kestrel, I think, are doing the same. Home Guard are coming. Home Guard. That doesn't seem to retain the moisture in the same way that the other stuff does. Mind you, yeah, it does. Yeah. It's just the surface that's a bit dry. That's from Aldi, that. 99p a bag. You can get 2 buckets full out of it. And the Kestrel there, what's the Kestrel doing? Oh, the Kestrel. One of them's come through. Now these have got 2 seed potatoes in each one of the 30-litre buckets. So I'm just going to top them all off, I think, today. Get them all topped off. These were the ones that we put in ages ago, and I don't think they're doing anything, or I didn't think they were doing anything. I'm not even put the thing on that, but that was February. That was I think it was the last week of February, but they are coming through there. Look, I'm just at a blimp. So I'm going to top them off. Yeah, I'm going to top them off. I'll let them crack on. But first, I'm going to put the kettle on. I'm going to have a brew. Because that's the next thing I'm going to do. I'm going to have a brew. I'm going to have a coffee. Hurry up with that video, Dave. Blue Star Dave. Blue Star Dave. Come on, man, with that video. Can't speak, Geordie. Geordie's one of them ones I can't do. Coca-Cola. Can't do Geordie. Could do Scouse, but I can't do Geordie. No way. Right, brew time. coffee time. And so there they are, the red dukes, all topped off with the compost. I'm going to have to get going in a minute because I'm nearly up to my time limit on the plots. But I'm going to do the old Tony O'Neill at Simplicity Gardening trick. And I'm going to mulch over the top of those. He put an excellent potato video on the other day about conserving water while you're bucket growing. The benefits of bucket growing are manifold, and you can see on Tony's channel what I mean by that. So it's Simplicity Gardening. So I'm going to put the wood chip on top of those, and that will act as a moisture retention. And there they all are, the grand old Dukes of York. With 1.5 inches of the wood chip mulch on top of that, they should be able to sort of withstand the wind and the sun, and it'll reduce the evaporation of the surface moisture, thus keeping the moisture and keeping the potato damp inside the bucket. Every 5 days or so, you give it a good deep watering. 1, 2, 3, 4, come on, say, baby, say you love me 5, 6, 7 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, I'm just gonna keep on counting until you are mine. Like that. And then you should be laughing then. So yeah, plenty done today again. I'm back at work tomorrow, so they're going to slow down a little bit, the videos, for a bit of blessed relief for you this week. Look at the colour of me. Fresh air, sunshine, exercise, growing organic vegetables, keeping social distances, and keeping very clean. Can't go wrong with that, can you? Keep calm, carry on. This is Guru Mafinder. If I don't see you through the week, I'll see you through the window. And remember, we love you all and keep growing with your head down. Bye bye now.